very rare dragonfly that we have here.
Cold-blooded.
You're so right. Yeah.
We saw animals and we talked about birds and stuff that lives in the water. And we learned that how the chickadees come with food, and that we went to go get some tadpoles.
There's a lot of beautiful features out here that really deserve to be showcased.
I hope they walk away with an excitement and enthusiasm to be outdoors and to enjoy the natural world.
Learning a little bit about it and just having that kind of personal experience. And it's just such a joy and such a delight to be able to pass that experience on.
Wonderful programs and just a wonderful setting for kids to really experience some of the things that we learn about in the classroom.
I first went out there when I was teaching at Jordan College, which is in Cedar Springs, and took college students out there to do studies, and that was during the early years of the Nature Center. And at that time, I'd met Corky McReynolds, who was the director there for the first 10 years. And then when he left, I actually became the director and was there for 20 years. But the center itself got established from the Christensens. Prior to their owning the property, Carl Dunstan owned the property, and he was a businessman in Detroit who came up to this wonderful oasis up in the North Country. But unfortunately, he was killed helping a neighbor with a hot water heater that exploded and killed him. And so his wife just wanted to unload that piece of property up north that wasn't of interest to her. And so the Christensens bought it. And while the Christensens lived there, their son, Howard, developed a cancer that killed him at a young age. And so he graduated from high school actually after his death. I mean, they presented the graduation certificate after his death. And so, but Cecil Holton had been working with Frank Christensen when Frank was trying to do something in memory of his son and thought about donating the property to somebody. And Cecil, with the Downtown Kiwanis Club that Frank was a member of, suggested he give it to the Ken Intermediate School District because there's something could develop from that. And so he did. And when Frank donated the property, the Howard Christensen Nature Center started taking shape and form. And in 1974, they opened and started programming that year, and has been programming pretty much ever since that time.
Give you kind of an overview of what's going on here, and I'm going to take the approach that we take with the students that come out here for field trips. When we have students come out here, we tell them that there are 3 things that we want them to do. We want them to have fun, we want them to learn something new, and we want them to share what they've learned. It's good for your senses to come out here. We're all wrapped up in our climate-controlled buildings and cars, and I think our senses are dulled by technology. So this is a good place to get in touch with your senses. It's good for your soul. It's good for your physical fitness to be here. So I hope you all have fun.
This was an old prairie site. We know it was an old prairie site because of the soils that are there. Also, there was some remnant prairie plants like the Michigan wild lupin. And that's significant because that's the home for the Carner blue butterfly.
This was a little ways into the burn. Again, this is the west side. Red Pine Drive's right over here. You can see it's not really that smoky. Most of the smoke was carrying up and out, so it worked quite well. Okay, smoking some honeysuckle. As I say, we're gradually working. The wind was coming out of the east, so we started on the west line, letting it go through. The longer residual time you can get on the fire, the better effect that you'll have on it. Okay, a little bit smoky there, not bad. Flame lengths were about like that till we torched some little Scotch pine, but most of it was about 1 to 1.5 foot of flame lengths, which was really good. Had a long residual time. So okay.
Weather's bad, nobody shows up, so I just really want to commend you for being here. And
Yeah, Gordon Food Service is interested in having stewardship activities for individuals that work there. And so we were looking for something to do with stewardship. And I had received an email from Howard Christensen Nature Center as far as there was a volunteer opportunity. And so I asked if we could do it as a group instead of coming to the one that they had organized. And they said, sure, they would be happy to have us come and help out. Weather hasn't been maybe quite as nice as we would have liked, but we have a pretty good group here, so.
Come visit the Memorial Spring at Howard Christensen Nature Center.
It was our service project. Probably that we're getting the water flowing, getting it see-through, and the most important thing is that we're getting it to where most of the dirt and all the other junk is coming out. And we've been working on it about without the water roaming, and then with the water roaming, almost an hour now. This is where we started off at, and as you can see, it is the most clearest water up here right now. And then we went down to the second pond and so on. But since we all worked together, we got this up and running in almost no time at all.
Welcome to the Nature Center.
Kids today are born and raised in town. They never see the soil. They never see a tree. They don't get to spend time out there just being kids in the outdoors. That's where I was raised, and that's where my heart is, the outdoors. We're losing it. You know, there was a movie done, How the West Was Won. Well, educated people would say the West wasn't won, the West was lost. And we face the same sort of thing here with nature in our developing areas. Acceptable future for the Nature Center would be simply more people being able to take advantage of what's here. And in order for that to happen, we have to have the money in order to keep the facility open, to have people available. We need huge numbers of volunteers in order to provide the services that are necessary.
Come forward a little bit more.
There he is. That's his picture right there.
Come forward a little bit more.
Did you hear it? Now, birds are silly because they can only say usually one thing. And they usually just say their name, like a chickadee. What sound does a chickadee make?
Chickadee, chickadee.
That's right. They just say their name over and over again. Whoa! I got one. Because he does not have very big eyes, he uses those whiskers to help him find his way. Those are like feelers. Like, have you ever seen somebody that's blind?
Yeah.
And they have a special stick to help them find their way?
Is he gonna die?
That's what he does.
I see one.
Yeah.
And I really feel a sense of responsibility to a mission, if you will, to pass that experience along to kids. And this is such a wonderful place for them to learn about nature and experience nature and have it become part of who they are as well. Field trip of this kind, of this nature, is not just a peripheral thing in terms of a person's education, whether they be a child or an adult. It's a central thing. How you feel about and how you see and experience the natural world is going to influence greatly how you make decisions about the rest of your life. And I do see the trend that we're getting kind of divorced from the natural world in a way.
A blue racer is a snake, and they're about this long. They've been using this as a shelter.
To use a word that a colleague of mine had used, we cannot be divorced from the natural world because we are part of it. And we're dependent upon the natural world. And to make those kinds of not only intellectual connections educationally here at the Howard Christensen Nature Center, but to make those kinds of emotional connections, I think is critical.
Why is he sticking his tongue out at us like that? That's not nice.
No, because he's trying to get some food.
Well, we do a lot of study about different animals and animal groups and habitats and how things interact together, but learning things from a book or seeing things in pictures or even video is not anything like experiencing it. So what I'm hoping is that they'll have experienced some of that interaction between species in nature, and just be able to see and touch and smell and breathe and be right with it. As they're walking, I can see different kids reacting with astonishment that something actually exists, maybe something they saw a picture of. I think the most interesting thing was when they got to touch the dragonfly's feet and feel it sticking to their fingers just a little bit. All of those kind of really exciting experiences that unless you feel exactly how it feels, you don't have the same kind of vocabulary to describe it. And our kids need to have those experiences so they have that kind of vocabulary to pull from.
It reminds me of when I was a child and my grandfather brought me out for the first time into a forest habitat and showed me all the kinds of things that we're showing these students and the wonder that I felt. And so to me, be able to transfer that wonder that was given to me by my grandfather to these students is a really wonderful thing.
It was in really bad shape from like the first time, so we redid the benches, we repainted them and sanded them and everything, and then we got mulch and everything and put it in between the aisles and down by the stage at the bottom. And we did the stage, we got new boards for that, and we put pea stones in between the steps going up and down. So.
The generation coming up, this is a good place to kind of start that appreciation of the environment and get in touch with what's important in the real world.
Everybody needs to be involved in order to keep a community going, in order to keep facilities like this in operation, so that people can come here and enjoy the facility and have fun.
My favorite part of the Nature Center is seeing that look of wonder and joy on a child's face.
Can anyone share with me something that you learned today?
We learned about birds, that there's a new kind of a butterfly that we didn't know about. I liked about the trees and the frogs and the snake. The lake, the frogs, the trees,